Yo, what's going on, people? Undefeated. Welcome to another episode of the Undefeated podcast.
The only podcast with two undefeated fighters, fam. I saw what you did with the pausing, and I thought, if that's the new thing that we're doing, I want to keep it going.
It just happened, bro. I thought, okay, let's go with it, bro.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you've been believe it. You've been in your dream and believe it, become it back.
Yeah, 100%. You know the battle was getting crazy.
Dream it, believe it.
You know, and you know the improv rules, bro. Yes, and you just keep going.
Hey, we're glad to be here. Glad to be back. We're back in the house, ready to pod, man. So much to talk. Hey, boxing, yeah. Boxing said, "Hey, have this. What content? Have it all."
Boxing. Do you know what? We'll get into it later in the show. I've got mixed feelings on how I feel about boxing nowadays, bro.
No, don't. Why?
When we get to that part of the show, we'll talk about it, bro.
All right, cool. All right.
But listen, let's get it cracking. Let's get busy, man. There's a lot of stuff I want to get into, bro. What's your tale of the tape, fam?
Come on, I'm 0-0. Never fought, never lost. If I did, someone gets knocked out. It's not me. Again, as you've been talking about this amazing story about me in the gym and people leaving because of me coming back, they've started to rear it. You know, it's like, like meerkats in the jungle. You know, when they're looking in, they're nervous, tentatively searching, tentatively wondering. You know, I feel like David Attenborough's in the background. Look at these fighters. Look at them, wondering when
natural habitat.
When will they go back in the gym? When could they become champions? And yeah, they're all looking at me, and I can fully hear David Attenborough in my head, and it's crazy. Again, someone attempted to walk in, but I moved and it startled them, so they ran out again. So, we're at the thing of me just looking at the door and just hoping for an opponent to walk in.
Sparring.
Just someone for decent sparring. But that's where I'm at in my career at the moment. I know last week you said some tragic news about you, a lot of cases and stuff. But yeah, that's me, bro. Oh, I know, and that's my situation.
Cool, bro. Yeah, so for me, bro, I'm 2-0, you know what I'm saying, with a 50% knockout rate. That just basically half the minute into the ring with me left on their backs. Yeah, my situation is it's not moved along. I'm still technically I'm unable to train, basically, and I can't book any fights at the moment. So it's a bit cloudy at the minute. Like, I've had an update basically saying that the adverse findings were there in the B sample as well, and it's like, okay, well, what does that mean for me? Where do I go from here? So I'll find out in a couple of weeks' time. Do you know what I mean? They did say it's looking very September-ish, but at this point, I'm just going to just see the process through and see what happens. Yeah. But like I say, I'm clean. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know you're clean.
I don't even know anybody called Alex. So I don't know why they linked us together. It's weird. Anyway, let's move on, bro.
Yeah, we move on. Listen, how do you feel, because Beterbiev, I was listening to, he's got a better knockout rate than you, bro. He's got 100% knockout rating. Like, all the men that's entered the ring with him have left on their back. How's that? What's your thoughts on that? And even we're hearing it, we might as well have the Yarde conversation. Yeah. What is your thoughts on that, bro? Like, where's your head at? Are you this knockout rating as well? Let's just have the fun part first. Let's get out of the way. This guy is
pretty incredible. I don't think it's 100% though. I'm sure there's somebody that took him
100%.
Let me just take.
100%.
You know what's there where you just
100%.
Let me just say, yep. There it is. Big bold writing, 100% KO. That's got to be. It's impressive. It's impressive still. It's impressive,
bro. It's very impressive, and he goes in there against a Yarde, yeah, and there's something that's exciting me about this fight. Like, it's when we talk about Uncle Frank and what he's doing and stuff, yeah, he can be annoying at times. I would say Big Frank can be annoying, yeah, but to give us this so early in the year, considering where Yarde is at, where Tunde Ajayi's at, there feels like a lot of growth in the camp. That's what I'm going to call it. A lot of growth in the camp, a lot of maturity, just not even like, I can't wait for the glitz and glamour to come after when we done something, if that makes sense. When that team does what they set out to do, I can't wait to see the show, because there should be a show there. There's too much there to not be a show. But you look at the situation, you think to yourself, bloody hell, man, I would love to see him do it, but this is the greatest challenge. What are you saying, bro?
I like you say, I like the energy from their camp right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Tunde sounds different. Yarde sounds, everybody sounds like, yo, we're ready. Like the feeling of their camp is it's a lot. I feel like it's the best energy I've seen around them as they go into this. And I'm like, you know, I look at, especially in the face-off as well. I'm like, there's a firm belief there. You understand? Like, there's no backing down, and I think it's quite funny watching the dynamics play out, because Beterbiev is looking at man like, I don't understand why you feel like this. I don't understand why you are this in my presence right now, and it's almost like it's throwing him a little bit. Because when I saw man punch the table, I was like, you're not getting the response energy-wise that you normally would be looking. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for.
He needs something. Well, to be honest, let's say he's a consummate professional, right? Because he's knocking guys out. He says he trains for his luck. He trains for his luck. But the funny thing is, you could tell he's like, tell me what this guy's saying. Like, you know, when you want something. Yeah.
You want the engagement. Yeah.
I need a lift. I want to let me know. But then all that came from that side. All that came from Tunde and Yarde was respect. While they said, you know what, while we know what we're dealing with.
They didn't even like look after man with the translator either, bro. They were just like, what's man, like, what's he saying to me? And he's just there like, nah, he's saying, yo, bless guys still. It's like, oh,
I can't do that with this. You know what I mean? And he's trying, and let's be honest, there's two things happening right now. Not only, this is really clever business. If this fight doesn't go the way it needs to go for Yarde, we built Beterbiev here enough for the Bivol fight, because we've seen Bivol versus Craig, we've seen Bivol, Canelo. Now Beterbiev we'd actually have to fully call him somewhat of a star in this place. So this is what they're looking for. Almost, you say, okay, we have Beterbiev. This is a great situation we have now, and it's like, I can feel what they're doing right now. I can feel, you know, we're here to build this. We're here to build Beterbiev as a danger man. And if that doesn't work, we still walk away with a Yarde. So it's win-win in terms of promotion. Now because the pay-per-view buys now. Let's say Yarde gets destroyed by Beterbiev.
They're not doing pay-per-view.
No, I know. Exactly. Even better. So you bring all these eyes to this fight, because everyone's going to watch it. And we're talking, it's almost like an investment, how I look at this fight in terms of what happens next. Because let's say this fight doesn't go the way it needs to go. Then you say, well, Yarde versus Bivol for the unified, because I know that Bivol will say to himself, yeah, Canelo's over here, but I can unify. I might as well go and fight the guy that beat the man. You know what I mean? And secure my legacy secure. Let me go mess around with Canelo and do some crazy stuff in the division if I can. This thing is poised. I'm excited by it. I don't know if there's a rematch clause in there. It'll be interesting.
I don't imagine there is. Like, for me, I look at it and I was even talking to my dad today, and we were trying to like assess Yarde's chances in this fight. You see what I'm saying? And I think Yarde has a much better chance than people really are ready to accept. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I understand when people start going, yeah, Kovalev, and what happened with Arthur? And I'm like, you got to look at those fights and this opponent, yeah? And also the fact that Yarde has turned a significant corner in his style-wise, since that first Arthur fight. Because how he came out in the second Arthur fight, Yarde energy was very different, very precise, very focused, and the results followed that way. I know the guy recently that he fought, that guy wasn't saying nothing. But you could see there was a bit of rust that man was working off in that fight. I feel like the inactivity out the ring. But he went out there with that laser focus. Now, let's be real. Let's go back to before Yarde fought Arthur. And, you know, he'd be in there with some opponents. Sometimes some opponents would stick around for a little while because Yarde was very patient. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, he knew this was coming, but, you know, single shot there. Just slowly bludgeon you, just slowly. Whereas now it's like seek and destroy. I'm on this thing. The minute I come out, I'm coming to put hands. So I look at this thing and I'm like, what you're gonna have in that fight with Beterbiev is not gonna look anything like any fight you've seen him in there with. He's going to go in there and have a gun show. You understand? And he's like, look, I am what I am now. Do you remember we used to talk about like the fact, don't jab with him, don't try and do the. He's like, no, I've fully committed to what I'm on.
Yeah. And that's one of the it's great to have a fighter in that space, but again, you're talking about two warships. One guy believes that he's faster and he's quicker. Because what Yarde was honest with, he said, I was surprised by the power. Well, he went to that last fight, he saw it up close, and he's like, okay, this is like when it says knockout, 100% knockout rating. They ain't made this thing up, or people are not just getting over like tin cans. You can bang, you know, and you're another seek and destroy as well. You're a guy that's gonna come forward. Yarde saying that where he has an advantage is he thinks he's quicker, you know, than Beterbiev. And listen, it's one of those ones that time will tell. I still have the edge on Beterbiev just because I think he's had to dig deeper and go into a different part of the world that Yarde hasn't, unfortunately, in his career, just because he's quite green. Let's look at it like this, yeah? So let's look at it like this. When he lost to Kovalev and Arthur, there was a theme. Yeah. Yeah. You know that meme was going, play my theme music. Do, do, do. But there was a theme. It was the jab, how to get over the jab, figuring out different ways. Yeah. You don't see Yarde get beat up. Nobody's back Yarde up, push man against the ropes, put hands on him. You don't see that. Even the stoppage against Kovalev. Except this opponent is more likely.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you look at the way he's lost before, he's not been dominated. So the fight he's about to have ain't gonna look like those ones. So really, what we're seeing is, it's more like, you see how we'd say Wilder versus Joyce is a human experiment of extremes. Yes. I hit hard, I take hard. Let's go and see who outlasts. Yeah. With them two, they're like, yo, I bang, you bang, or let's bang. And whoever comes out on top.
That's the
banger.
You know, has Yarde's chin ever been tested? Because has he ever taken a big shot to the... I mean, because he's been down in his career, if he's ever like taken a knee like in a mad way or looked like he's in severe trouble. That's gonna be something.
When he went down against Kovalev, fatigue.
Yeah. That was
Can't even count that. No, you ain't seen him rocked. You ain't seen him wobbled. You ain't seen him like take a shot and be like suddenly just regaining himself. Bro, the guy is defensively aware. Do you see what I'm saying? So at the same time, so is Beterbiev. But at the same time, we've seen Beterbiev go down. Callum Johnson. Yeah, and I'm not going to over-exaggerate the knockdown because it wasn't like he was all laying down and sprawled. Yeah. Like, he touched down. It's like, yo, the shot caught, man. But he's back up and he went to work. But I'm just like, yo, it's going to be a fight. They both got their dog in them. It's going to be crazy.
You know what? You brought us to a lovely segue because, and I just want to say, last point on this Yarde thing is, we'll know a lot about him if he does go down and what his reaction to go. They're both gonna in this fight. It looks like they're both gonna have to bite down on the gum shield at some point. If they're both coming for the gun show, something's got to give. So it's your reaction to going down, and which segues us nicely into triple D, Dubois, Dynamite Dubois.
Kings, yo.
Come on. And you're talking about having that dog in him, innit? Yeah, and bro,
he got that quit in him.
Bro, I hate to say it. I hate to be this guy, but I have to be honest. My thing is, I was waiting for the Dubois rebuild, and I was really interested in the Dubois rebuild because I thought, you know what, the eye injury was crazy. I didn't feel any way because he was talking about Joe Joyce's mum with the vision and thing in the press conference. So a little part of me was like, see, look at life. It's funny how it spins round, and it, you know, karma has a funny way of showing you while gone. But then you let time pass and you say, you know what? I'd like to see him be a competitor in this place. Let me see what the rebuild looks like. Well, the rebuild is not somewhat done, but he's on the progression of the rebuild. But then we halt in the road because you say to yourself, mate, why is it when you fight, when you come against some real like in sticky situations, and these situations not that sticky because this is not like you're not fighting at top level. I don't believe You're not fighting real super opponents, and you got that thing that says, I don't want to be here. There's that little part of you that says, you know what, I'm gonna sit this one out. This hurts. And it's too telling. We saw it against Joe Joyce, where the knee was just like, it's just knee. Like, it's just, it makes no sense. You talk about David Hay on the busted Achilles and that, but then my man just he can't even hide when he's injured. Bro, we were showing everything was there. It's like, yeah, look, I'm here. Look, I'm hurting. What are you doing?
Yeah, I couldn't work it out. And I mean, that fight, let's call a spade a spade. That fight looks so fishy, bro. Like, the fact that they saved him with 10 rounds, because he's going down again after that 10. He's going down again. The guy just has to throw one extra shot. He's on his way down to the floor, and the fight is called. So they save him in that one. Now you're clearly in the away corner. You've just got your opponent down once from you, but then the effects of that twice more. So there's 3 times down. He's in trouble. Life is struggling right now. But in the second round and the third, you decide to throw nothing more with conviction. What am I to do with that information as a fan?
Especially like, bro.
I'm looking at that and I'm thinking to myself, go on.
No, you're right. When you've invested the bag, BT have invested the bag. Frank Warren has invested the bag on this guy being next. BT looked across and saw a British champion in AJ and said, "Hey, we want some of that. Go out and get it for us." Yeah. Frank pulls up. He says, "I think I've got him." Yeah. Frank says, "I've got him. I've got the guy that you all been looking for." Pulls up with Dubois. Dubois is not, and remember, the matchmaking is scintillating. Dubois in there moving correctly. Then we say, you know what? We need more. Yep, we need more. Let's get him around real boxing, because you say everything that AJ did wrong, let's now fix that. So get him around some boxing heavyweights of time gone by. Yeah.
Where's Frank?
Where's Frank Bruno? I know him. Frank pulls up. And literally, the situation is looking great. And then after the banana skin, which we weren't expecting, but we're like, we need to say that. We need to, like, he has to go over. We need to say that he's gone to the next level. So where Joe Joyce is standing currently right now, please understand, BT, Frank, everyone, that was meant to be Dubois. The person in the ring with all of those guys was meant to be this new guy, the pretender in a sense, yeah. And look what's happened. He gets moved to by Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce stock just keeps rising. Joe Joyce, Parker, Joe Joyce answering the questions that he's meant to answer, and then you get this guy. These are multiple choice questions that you're messing up on, bro. These ones here is no, man. This ain't right. It should go this way, and we don't understand what the hell's going on. But we can't ruin our investment now. Big man, I know you knocked him down 3 times in that last round. You better chill out right now.
Chill the hell out.
Chill out, because you won't fight on another one of our cards again.
Ever in your life, my friend. I don't care what your record is. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And I'm like, yo, this is £26.95, yo. The fans have paid $26.95 to watch this level of nonsense.
Yeah, Carry on. Sorry, I want to stop you.
Like, yeah, I'm saying the fight goes through, and then afterwards, like, you just look at him, and it's just that feeling of like, you ain't it, man. Like,
you're not.
I'm sure you're a nice guy, but nah.
You're not it. That's it. You're not it. Like, it's simple as that. And while you're on that $26.95. Let's not forget about the elephant in the room, bro. One of my favorite pastimes now is listening to Simon Jordan hold Frank Warren to task.
I couldn't believe it.
It is he does that now, because I've been listening to Simon Jordan for a while now, because I'm like, you're annoying, but you're so good at what you do that I'm here for it. And now
he evokes an emotion.
Hey, go on, bro. And how he had Frank Warren on ropes, and we said this stuff. I'm glad that it's finally, because finally there's someone that is, they can
Hold
see
your
on
man to account.
No, because what happens is we can say these things and it does not matter, because as far as they're concerned, you're not on our level. You haven't been in the game for long enough. Don't tell me nothing. But sometimes coming from what they see as familiar, because we ain't saying anything different, and the platform, and he's a made man. This person's a whole millionaire outside of being on the thing. So you have to talk to him nice. Now, the conversation gets interesting when you can say you've robbed the British public in Tyson Fury, a man of the people, has robbed the British public alongside Mr. Frank Warren. Tell me how that makes sense. For that price, you know what? Should have been free to air. Your thoughts, bro.
Listen, I thought to myself, listen, that fight was not value for money by any account. Right, and it's funny, right? This guy, I got a troll on my Instagram. This guy commented on my thing and said, "Oh, look," he goes, these men try to troll me about stuff that don't even make sense." Man goes, "You're the AJ of comedy, and Tyson Fury is Dave Chappelle." And I was like, I just came back and said, if you genuinely think I'm the AJ of comedy, thank you so much, bro, because that is not the insult you think it is. That is so not an insult. But I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, he's like, yeah, you know, Fury's done this, Fury's done that with the money, and you know, he's made this much money this year, sold this much tickets. And I was just like, I just came back and said, look, man, I'm glad Fury's now making the type of money that AJ's used to. Congratulations. And I said the only difference between them two and how their money gets made is that it seems as if like everyone around AJ is also making money, but everyone around Fury seems to be losing money because the pay-per-view is also a part of the money that's supposed to come back to make this thing profitable for everybody involved. Otherwise, everybody's working to make you hit your guarantee. And then we pat your back and say, all right, well, enjoy it. And I get back in my Uber and you're off in your... You understand?
Yeah. But like, he signed the contract. He signed the big ESPN super deal.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm looking at this fight now and I'm thinking to myself, why does... Like, who is it? I think it was Dana White that said boxing is like every fight feels like a smash and grab. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it's like, I'm just going to get as much as I can and get the hell out of here. Because the night didn't deliver. And this is a theme, like I'm seeing a lot of conversations right now on the timeline talking about who's the best promoter this year. I think Queensbury, but I'm like, no, let's not get this thing twisted. Yeah? Matchroom have done a madness this year, right? The only thing that changes, what, if we start listening to fights?
But they just lost champion.
I'm talking about the shows.
Yeah, they're great shows.
All that it is that their guys have lost fights. That's the only way you come at them. Now, if that is the thing that you come at them with, then you got to say, well, then clearly they're putting on competitive fights.
Good shows. Let's
if
go.
A champion, their main champions can lose. That means they're fighting at a certain level.
Yes, that's a good point.
And great not just that, but their big nights are big nights. Like the undercard. There's things to watch where you're like, yo, this thing is happening. Bro, both of these Tyson Fury cards of Dillian Whyte and Chisora, the cards have been shocking. So for me, I just don't get sworn up in this noise of, these men are full. I'm like, no, Conor Ben news has absolutely put a bad vibe on the sport. And Eddie Hearn has been in the middle of it. So you can paint the picture that...
That's why you can't give it of the year. But then you can't give it to Queensbury. You wouldn't be able to give it to Queensbury because Queensbury has the same cheating allegations as well.
Zelani Tete. It's just one of those things. It's just one of those things where you give it to Matchroom and you just say, well, there's a dark feeling because of the whole Conor Ben situation, but let's not get this thing confused on what the results are. Like, I look at the night and I just think to myself, there's a lot of nonsense that gets put out in the lead up to these fights that people have to start paying attention to, man. Like, when man starts talking about, we do this thing for the country, in these trying times, let's put some boxing on and, let's just really just get through this together, mad at the people. But then I'm going to charge you record high numbers for this fight. A fight that you know the outcome. You know exactly how this is going to go. But I want you to pay to come out and sit in the cold with me. Because I need money. I need this before Christmas. Why do you need it before Christmas? Just because? Like, and it's a disgrace.
It's a disgrace. I think just to jump in there, Fury hits up. Chisora says Fury hit him up and said, do you want to fight? Do you know what I mean? And this guy loves a pound note. My man, Chisora is going to, like anyone, Chisora's going to say yes. Chisora's still not, even after what happened to him on the weekend, Chisora has no plans of retiring. He has no plans of getting the hell out of here. He said he wants to fight on. So now that shows you the kind of man that he is. Now, it should never have been offered. That's the point. And that's the point that Thingy was trying to hold him to task. Simon Jordan was, we've said this for time, but Simon Jordan was saying Chisora could never have won that fight. There was no way Chisora's going to win. Then everyone, the embarrassment, or what I don't like what people are doing is they're putting too much stock on Usyk versus Chisora. This is Usyk stepping into the heavy. I swear that was his first heavyweight fight or something.
You have to let go of it, bro. This was, no, it's the second fight.
What I'm saying, in terms of his journey, Usyk is a better fighter. He's still trying to understand himself at the weight. Yes, and Chisora, go back and watch that. While he was better than how AJ performed in the first one, while you can say he's better than that, but he wasn't that good. Chisora was tired. He was swinging wild. Usyk was in control immediately. We talked about downloading the data. Go back and watch that fight, because now what's happened is people have kind of repositioned this fight and said it is something that is not. It's not that. Zora got through this fight. Yes, you don't like. I get people's stocks can go up, but not stocks go up so much that you're now in a title fight. Not stocks go up so much that I saw you struggle over and over again. Have a war. Your last fight. Who is it? Pulev.
Pulev, bro.
You was on a losing streak. You had a war with Pulev, and we all said we're all singing "Oh, Derek Chisora," the good song that we know to sing, because we're so proud of this moment. And it was time to walk away. Even Derek Chisora says he doesn't want to leave on the last performance that he did against Fury, bro. You should have left against Pulev. That was the way to leave.
Facts.
That was
now you're looking for a gimme to say goodbye, and it's like, bro, like. This is where it gets. I mean, let's be real. No, you had no chance in. Chisora had no chance in this fight, and it's one of those ones where the narrative. And it's mad because I tweeted this during the fight. I said the fact that this fight, the longer this fight goes, the more I see people going, well, at least he did better than Dillian Whyte, to try and justify it as a competitive bout. But you know what's crazy is I see Frank Warren. He went too far with it. Man goes, you know, he's done a lot better than Dillian Whyte, and he's got a better chin than Wilder. And I'm thinking to myself, you cannot pick and choose when you're going to rate Wilder, because when you're ready to give Fury praise, oh, Wilder, he's the hardest puncher in history, boxing history, and did it. And I'm like, okay, based on what top level fighters he knocked out, can't name me one. But then when this happens now, he's got better. Chisora's got a better chin than him. I think to myself, then how good is he? How valuable are those nights then?
It's mad, bro. You're spitting. Listen. It's a travesty. That's what it really is. When you talk about this boxing, and I remember you starting the show saying you get disillusioned with some of this boxing stuff and how, you know, the boxing stories and how they move this, that, and the other. It makes it's more interesting for me because I like to see the smoke and mirrors of it. I love the smoke and mirrors of it all. I find it really interesting, and I like to just call things out and say, listen, everyone's chatting shit here. But then it's funny how quick this thing moves. And what we saw yesterday, and the smart people in boxing, please be aware what's going on. When you put the juggernaut, Usyk and Fury on an apron, one guy should not be there. One guy was in having his little mama impression. Big Jay-Z and Alicia Keys should be performing. We're talking about there's belt holders, recognized belt holders on the apron talking about doing something that hasn't been done since Lennox Lewis.
And you know what's funny, right?
Yep.
Let's go back to, remember when Dan Aziz was on the cut, like before he got the British title, and he was trying to really get into the conversation, and we were like, yo, at the Lyndon Arthur and Yarde fight, go up there and start calling man out if you want to get into it.
Yeah.
And then he said, nah, it didn't feel like it didn't make sense.
It wasn't right.
Because, the man over there, man's got the belts and that, like it don't make sense. And I was like, it made sense. It made more sense for Dan Aziz to go and still find a way to do that, get into that moment, than it did for Joe Joyce to be in the mix for this one.
It made no sense.
Like you said on Monday Night Smoke, that's a shoulder tap. Joe, get up there.
Get up there. Get up there right now. you get up there right now, because watch this. We're gonna do a magic trick, and the British public will not believe it, but we have to say it up. Yeah, because the problem now is Usyk's here. Usyk is saying, Usyk's body language, or just being here, it says, is giving all indications, I'm ready to fight. That's what Usyk turning up is saying, I'm ready to fight. Usyk has not shown any fear of fighting in someone's backyard or pulling up. He's pulled up to AJ. He's calling names. He's been calling names for the longest time. We started with that one, and it came, I am Phil, bro, to AJ, to winning the belts of AJ, to go into war, however you see the war, whatever impart, like in terms of however involved he was in the war, my man pulled up and he was the face of something. Yeah, he's pulled up, he's back here, and he's looking at you. Yeah, now you have to fight me. You've been calling me a pumped up, a pumped up middleweight, even Frank Warren's on the disrespect all the time, saying that this guy is not, one second he's big enough, next second he's not big enough. It's crazy. This guy's pulled up, he's right here, right in front of you. What now? Sign the contract. Let's make this thing happen. Now you're telling me you got surgery. I thought you could any day, anyone.
6 to 8 weeks, so I won't be available until, well, we'll do it when we can.
So just imagine if this fight was so important and legacy was so important, why would you mash up your elbow in fighting Chisora? Why don't we just wait till next year and just fight for the undisputed title?
Urgent?
No one's saying this. No one's asking these things. You rushed Joshua to fight you, and for no reason, you were somehow doing him a favor. Yeah, you were just doing him a favor because he looked like he needed the wins from somewhere. So you decided, Josh, I'll fight you in November, but it has to be this day at this time when the wind is blowing at this speed. That's the only time that I'm gonna accept this fight. Doesn't happen. Now you take Chisora. Nobody wanted it. You're cussing, calling everyone, telling everyone that this is wrong about you. Chatting bare rubbish, yeah? Chatting bare rubbish. You con the British public, and now you're telling me that you're injured and you need to have surgery before you see Usyk. And if that can't be done, I'm going to fight Joe Joyce. Well, everybody watching, Joe Joyce is who we're fighting next.
Joe Joyce is next, 100%. Because one thing that we can see is that these men will just mug you off, right? Now, I'm not saying that a fight that fights, an opponent that I don't want to see is a mug off. Like, a full night of boxing should come at that price. And we're seeing that these men are very heavy-handed with how they don't care. Like, man's just like, look, no one's bending your arm to pay for the thing. Sorry? This is the public that paid you out of their pocket in a very difficult financial climate. Men are making decisions between food and heating. Yeah, that's how real this time is right now. And you're talking about no one's bending your arm, bro. Nah. You don't give us that and expect that to just be cool, bro. Not from the man of the people, not from the self-proclaimed man of the people. This is why you got to start listening to what a man calls himself and then what a man does. You understand? It's like if you're talking to, like, yo, don't listen to the early stage of that relationship. The bare promises are being made. Watch the man's actions. Watch her actions. Get to know the real them. That's why I'm like, this guy, he don't add up. That's why I don't like him, and I don't care no more. Like, people keep saying, oh, Trev, you keep hating. I'm like, that's not hating, but show me what's there to love. And there ain't much there, bro.
Yeah, it's fair. Look, the last person that I saw put his money where his mouth is when Usyk was fighting against, and he said it's free to air. Ukraine, all my people there, go watch that. Go watch that. Now, he done himself. He probably done himself in financially, but he done that. The guy did that. Like, it's mad. My thing is, the funny thing is, I don't mind if Joe Joyce gets his moment because, it'll be an entertaining fight. Like Joe Joyce. In fairness, I like Joe Joyce. I like to see him.
I like him too.
I like that fight. I like it. I think it's, while it's not, it could be, what do you want to call it? 70-30 fight in the case of, it should be Furies to win, but Joe Joyce just is that person that just won't go away. He's that guy that's just happens to just still be in your face. You're punching him, you're hitting him with things, and he's just still just there. He just won't go anywhere. You know what I mean? And I think he poses he asks questions, and I would like to know what the answers are. I would like to know if Fury has the answers. A big part of me feels that Fury is in a great part of his career in terms of he understands when to be herky jerky. He understands when to lean into the power. There's a lot to like about Fury in terms of his boxing ability has gone up another notch.
He's top level, and this is why I'm like top level, bro. I don't want to hear about a step up or tune up. Get in there with the other top level guys. That's it.
Yeah,
that's literally all we want from you.
But Joe Joyce,
Joyce. Yeah, no, Joe Joyce is a good name, but it's just one of the things where it's like, yo, give us Undisputed, man. Stop wasting time, and that's what this feels like now. Do you know what I'm saying? Stop running the public again.
A little part of me is even like I'll be honest. A little part of me is happy that because if he gives us Undisputed, he's retiring. That's for sure.
At this point, I don't care. I don't. No, but if that's how it plays out. I don't care because think about how held up the heavyweight division has been these last 2 years. It's gotten to a point now where it's annoying. New stars will emerge. This is the thing where new stars will emerge. Bro, all it takes is one massive night, and that is it. There's another name, and this guy's in the mix. So these men are like dilly-dallying and thinking that it's going to last forever. Tyson Fury talking about, I'm going to fight this many times. Big man, the minute you get old in this game, you become food, and that is that. So whatever longevity you're mapping out, you're 34. How old is he? 34. Football players retire at these ages. Basically is what I'm saying. So it ain't gonna last forever. At this point, you keep talking about how much you don't care about legacy. Oh, you care because you keep reference. Everything is the conversation. Oh, he's better than Lennox Lewis and and you feed it. I'm the best heavyweight there's ever been. You care about legacy. Most fighters in this game care about legacy.
All of them.
But he's just trying to brand himself as if it's just, oh, no, I'm just a man. No, you're not, bro. You care about legacy too, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just be real. So my thing is this. That AJ fight has to happen. These men keep talking about, oh, he don't, AJ needs him. He don't, bro, clear out the division. You want to start doing, you want to be like Lennox? Well, do Lennox things. Lennox weren't leaving no food on the table. He even touched a new era. He didn't need to fight Vitaly Klitschko.
Yeah.
You understand? So for me, I'm just like, nah, I'm not allowing the bar to just drop and everyone's just like, yeah, no, he's the next Lennox.
Yeah. To remind people of the bar, but then while you're here as well, and you mentioned AJ, and I'm so happy you did that because AJ, we have to ask ourselves some real AJ serious questions. Yeah, AJ is.
Sorry, just before we get to this thing, and just to say, if Tyson Fury clears out these division like how I'm saying, bro, I will give him his full respect. I don't have to like a man to be able to say, no, this guy here, that's the truth.
Yeah.
He answers the question and shut things down. I'll give it up 100%.
Yeah.
You see how I gave it up for Usyk, fam, after Wade went off the ledge for AJ?
Yeah.
I'll give it up, bro.
Yeah, you had to. You had no choice. You had to, literally, like the first time Usyk too small, can't do it. I remember I was with you. I put my name on it.
Bro, I was on DAZN, big DAZN, doing the most, fam. The belief was 100.
And then now we're here. But again, this is the beauty of boxing and how things just end and eras can end and things move on. But we need to talk about AJ. My little brother called me yesterday. I was live watching, I think it was England. No, I was watching Portugal, right?
Yeah.
And he called me, he goes, I'm pissed off with AJ. And I goes, bro, what happened? He goes, I'm just upset. He's not in the conversation, bro. The guy is just so far from things. It's just, I'm just annoyed. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. He was just mad. And he goes, the thing was because AJ was the one that brought my brother into boxing. He's the one that AJ gave the speech about you can do it and this, that, and the other. My brother picked up boxing gloves immediately, right? And to see the confusion, again, the AJ is a man I respect all day. I don't need to explain that. But then it's like, I know you're talking about the relationship with trainers and being ready. Again, I understand now, fair enough, Dillian's next. Yeah, if that's the case. Dillian's next. So you can do a bit of a job search, a hunt. But I thought that this new trainer was the guy. So now to be with Virgil or just trying out Virgil and all these different trainers is confusing. That's my thing. You can't really develop a proper relationship when you're not these things take time, and you lot need to be able to understand each other and know each other. Like, go on.
And I don't like the fact that Virgil's name is in the mix. I'm gonna be very clear. Like, and this is not like I don't rate him like that as a trainer.
Yeah.
And I don't rate him as a trainer for like late stage of the careers. Like, I get Andre Ward, you and him had a great thing and it worked with you two. You and Amir Khan, that didn't work. You and Boatsy, I'm not really a fan of how that looks. I don't need AJ over there trying to be.
I know Boatsy looks good with Boatsy's. Think about his last two. Boatsy did he have Virgil in his corner for Bolotniks?
Yeah.
He had him in his corner for Bolotniks. Yes, there was some. He's been considered. He's increased and got better. He had him in there for Craig Richards, right?
Yeah.
So there has been improved. There has been some level of.
No. Here's why I disagree. Not because I don't think he can train a fighter. What I'm saying is, you look at what a fighter is and what he's going to pull you into a direction. I'm like, no, this don't make sense. This is not an intelligent decision to make, in my view. I look at what he's doing with Boatsy, and now I'm like, why is Boatsy standing frozen in this stance and taking shots clean to the face and not even moving after that fact? Like, Amir Khan, I didn't see an improvement defensively. He's supposed to be defensively wired, like focused, right? And I'm like, this is not. So for me, I'm like, when the guy is what he is, look at what Anthony Yarde is doing. Anthony Yarde is like, no, this is who I am. I'm focusing on this thing. Everything else I'm going to try and add along the way, but at this core, this thing here is not getting compromised. That's not. Don't dilute the sauce. Yeah, and I'm like, with AJ, it seems like since the journey of certain big fights, he's diluted the sauce a touch with, bro, don't lose that first essence. And I feel like that's what needs to come out. It's not the rest of it. He's developed so much IQ and the experience. The guys he's been in with at this point now, 2 fights with Usyk for 24 rounds with Usyk, basically. Yeah. He's going to learn so much from that fight.
But why change it? And that's what I'm saying.
No, why? Because there's elements that he needed to display that would have maybe changed the outcome. And I don't think those were there in the same way. So this is what I'm saying. I want a trainer to get back to that core essence whilst incorporating this new experience in boxing IQ that he's developed along the way.
Can you get that from Garcia?
I just feel like you're saying before, give me another fight with that arrangement.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give
me another fight with that arrangement. Don't rush to change it so quick.
That's what I'm interested in. You know, it's like you need to know the voices. I'll never forget me and you doing the Sky build up for Khan versus Kell Brook. And Khan had in his corner, what's the trainer's name again?
Oh, that guy. What's his? Bo.
It's gonna annoy me, but
it's Terence Crawford's trainer.
Yeah. If you can have a look, but there's a moment when I'm like, listen, he ain't Crawford, and I don't know you, and it came apparent. There was moments in that fight where it's like, I don't know you. I'm talking to you and saying you do this, do that, and stuff, but we don't have a relationship. So then and the trust is so important. I'm now starting to see in fights where people believe that they're up on the scorecards or they see things. That's it.
Brian McIntyre, that's it. Yeah.
There you go. People believe in things, and you need to believe in your person that's talking to you in your corner. You need to believe when he gives you an instruction that you follow it. We've seen the difference of Lawrence Okoli following what Shane McGuigan's telling him to do, and we're seeing him show it in the ring. So sometimes that voice can't be foreign to you. And when I say foreign, I'm not saying be from another country. I'm saying I'm not used to hearing this voice, and I need to understand, can I trust this voice in this moment while someone's trying to punch you in the face? Right. And I just feel like, again, if we're talking about the rebuild of AJ, which I'm really interested in, and I just want to see him do it, I feel like we should kind of know the person, because we've done an American tour before, and to do the tour and end up on Virgil, it does make me, I raise eyebrows, but I'm like, I hope this is going to work. But
what I don't like, and I'm also really against, is picking up the trainer and then you just get the sense that this guy's here for a payday. Because let's be real, trainers are going to show up if you want them to be there for the right money. They're going to come.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I didn't really like Dillian White's arrangement with Buddy McGirt. That didn't feel like a yeah, we're one we're gelled. Two, I'm in this thing and I know you and you know me and we're gonna move. He was asking him to do some things there that left. It just felt I saw confusion in the ring. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, what I really don't want there to be for AJ's camp is confusion. Like it's new, and I think what needs to happen here, and this is going to be what makes the game change in regards to this coaching situation, because he didn't get the full extent of Garcia, because he still had that guy there. What's his name?
Angel.
He still had Angel there. Angel's number one. So when you change the number two, man, you don't change the camp. You don't change anything. You just get another man to give a little advice. If somebody asks me, bro, can you direct my show? I'm sitting in there and I'm involved. We're talking regularly. We're doing this thing. Whereas if you say to me, bro, come and watch the show that me and my guy worked on, and just if there's anything like just do it. I'm like,
I'm not the director.
I'm not coming to overstep on what my man's saying or undo what is. That's you can't have the full extent of the Garcia tutelage. So you're still with Angel. It's still Angel. It's just dressed differently. I wouldn't be surprised if this is what it was like when McCracken was there. McCracken's like, yeah, I get to stand up in that, but he's chatting as well. You know what I mean? We're all chatting. Now you got bare information. Every corner you're coming out with too much.
Yeah, and then you're confused, doing confusion in the ring. You're not
gonna remember all of this.
You're not gonna remember all of this. Like all that information goes out once I get into this ring and it's time to go again, especially when I'm fighting someone that is dangerous. You know, we're talking about all roads leading back to Fury, all roads leading back to the champions, right? So who's gonna make you the best? What is gonna make you the best? Because again, Wilder said they had a little back and forth. AJ had a little back and forth saying, I've been waiting to fight Wilder for time. All of a sudden you're ready. Like it was one of those ones, and it was like, well, this fight could happen. Are we gonna be primed and ready for even Wilder? And I know Wilder's got the mad mind maps and stuff, and he's got the career, the music career as well going, but there's still danger in that man. You know what I mean? And I want you going into any of these fights ready, because we wore the cape for, especially against, like, there's some losses now that we can't afford to have. Like I can't afford to see if AJ loses to Wilder, that's terrible. That's terrible. It is. Like if AJ loses again to, let's say he loses to Wilder, loses to Fury, but beats Dillian.
That's not. Like beating Dillian, like if they fight again, which is more than likely going to be the next fight. Exactly. That should be easy work for AJ.
Yeah.
Given everything he's experienced up until this point and the personal edge that's going to be, that should be a good, you know what I mean? It should be a good win. And a lot of people have, like, on Twitter have kind of come at me saying how keep the same energy that I had for the Chisora Fury fight when they announced AJ versus White. And I'm like, that is not an equivalent. Like,
I'm not happy about this fight though. I don't think it needs to happen. I've been clear.
No, I hear what you're saying, but do you think that's the equivalent?
What?
Do you think AJ and Dillian White is the equivalent of Chisora versus Fury?
I think there's some, yeah. I think there's validity. I think that's valid.
The reason why I challenge it, AJ's coming off a defeat, 2 defeats, right? This is supposed to be the comeback fight.
Okay, so I understand. One is the lineal champion. One is the lineal champion fight.
If AJ just pulled this out the hat with all the belts, I'd be like, this doesn't make sense. I get there's a grudge in that, but Donnie's down on his chips. Like, it's not the same. You're not ain't in the same standing. Whereas now it's like, come back. Man, we're talking about Hrgovic, bro.
I think you can beat him as well. I think it's a great fight for AJ. I think if all roads lead back to being great, remember my thing is talking about going back to greatness. If we have no plan to go back to greatness, then cool. Like, but if the roads are leading back to them, man, you have to fight people that are gonna show you different things and you're gonna learn different things from. I believe he's learned a lot in them 24 rounds with Usyk, 100%. Which now says that, come on.
If Canelo learned like a lot of boxing stuff from being in there with Floyd, this is the effect of being in there with great fighters. And I give Usyk that mantle in that respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing. I've been forced to see it. He's earned it. But for me now, I look at it and I'm like, the problem with that whole kind of fight your way back to this thing is that there's a massive gap between those guys and the guys that are just below. You see what I'm saying? It's not like you got like Joe Joyce, for example. That's not really a comeback fight like that. You got to take this man serious when you get in there with Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is really he's a name. He's in the top 4 conversation. Let's be real.
He's announced himself. He's one of the.
He blew Parker out there.
He did to Parker was we said okay. So Dubois was like okay, interesting. Yeah. Parker for me was like because a lot of men have fought Parker. A lot of men have fought Parker, and it hasn't looked like that. I saw AJ's mixed it with Parker, right? AJ fought Parker. Yeah. I seen Dillian fight Parker.
Dillian was life and death.
Life and death. I watched this guy scrap. Listen, I watched what Joyce did to Parker. I couldn't believe it. It was like bludgeon man, just hurt man, like, and he's just always there. Like I felt for Parker, feeling like move, man, like you're in front of me.
Don't just stand there, bro.
Yeah, like
jugger. He's like, I'm coming, baby. Like, thing is, Joe Joyce, like, he's a prominent heavyweight today. Like, for me, I'd say for AJ, take your comeback touch. Like, allow yourself to have that. Because this guy, bro, if man are getting touches, Thomas Aferi, Pianetta, like, if man can throw in these names whenever they want, take this one today. Take the Dillian White thing.
I just take that. Man.
After that, because obviously by this time, my man should be, he either would have fought Joyce in February or he's fought Usyk, which is Joyce. So let's say once he fights Joyce, he's fighting Usyk middle of the year.
The belts are dispersing. There's no unified. Sorry, just let you know.
Yeah, undisputed, you mean?
Yeah, no.
It's a matter of time before, and they keep saying it's not going to happen, but I don't believe the words that come out of those guys' mouth. So when Usyk could have to vacate that belt, Hrgovic and AJ for the world title, and then we're having different conversations about undisputed. But my thing is, say that AJ Fury fights Joyce, depending on what that looks like in February. After that, he's gonna go Usyk May, June, or whatever. AJ Dillian White in like January or Feb. Then after that, say AJ Joyce, and then close the year out on Fury, or maybe AJ Wilder, and then close the year. Like, do you know what I'm saying? There's still that could be a potential map for how it goes, because I don't think AJ's sticking at a certain level. He's gonna fight.
Don't rule out Wilder Fury 4.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. I don't want to.
I know you don't, but just don't rule it out. That's all I'm saying. Just to
because one thing these men have is the audacity.
All right, that's the episode title. Just Audacity. I'm just bare, man. Because AJ just picking a new trainer and just keeping it moving is audacious. Thing you charging her £27, to fight someone you know you can beat up is more than audacity. I think it's a liberty. But then
he can't wait to do it again. He can't wait.
He can't wait to do it again. But
when has there been a quadruple bout like this? This is the first of its kind. And you'd be like,
of the ages. It's one of the ages. But again,
they will create the most random first, by the way, just to be having something to celebrate. It's hilarious.
Bro, there's some more audacity that I'm about to bring your way. Mayweather and Gervonta Davis, that toxic relationship that we've been talking about, is finally hit. It's finally come to an end. Like, it's shocking. It's surprising that it's come to an end, because I thought there was always going to be in this thing, right? Yeah. It's going on forever. Like, you say something about me, I delete the tweets later, just random, right? It's finally come to an end. I know that Eddie Hearn, he's one of his prized guys, someone that he's always liked the look of, is Tank. He's not hit it. As soon as he got that money and he was going to make his way out to America, he had his eyes on Tank. He had his eyes on him. Couldn't get him. I think Leonard Ellaby was upset about the amount of money that Eddie Hearn had, and he thought to himself, "Goodness, imagine if we lose Tank." And I think that's where a lot of the anger and him saying, "I want to fight Eddie Hearn." We never heard him speak like this, even though he's had many years in boxing. Leonard Ellaby. Anyway, we're finally here. Eddie Hearn says, "I'm happy to offer you Was it 10? Is it close to 10
10
million?
mil, 10 mil,
For Ryan,
guarantee.
that is guaranteed for Ryan Garcia. That is a lot of money, bro. That is a substantial amount of money. I don't know if he does. I don't know what the pay-per-views look like on that fight. I don't is the clamor, because I know we're excited about it, but is the world gonna stop for Garcia versus Tank? And a part of me wants to say no.
I feel like it will do really well, but I don't know, man. I believe
It's
it does
late.
well.
It's not the same. It does well, but it doesn't. It's not what Gervonta Davis was. I had to use the word was in terms of there was a moment when when you got like a superstar that's just is hitting number ones, yeah.
It's
the
Santa Cruz KO, red hot at that time.
Yes. There's that guy, and there's the Garcia that is stepping up there, looking like he could be the guy. There's this, and you're thinking to yourself, and they called it again. Was it Four Kings or something? The division. There was that era. There was that, and then after we had Art of War that came and said, "Listen, those Four Kings are not even kings. I'm the emperor." And he kind of just something happened to all of those guys. We all became disillusioned, and we're like,
because Haney came and jumped into Haney was in the conversation anyway, but Haney's like, well, I'm gonna go fight. Cambosa's kind of dispersed it a little bit because don't try and talk about this thing about me. Teofimo Lopez went up in weight. Tank has kind of jumped in weight. Garcia's done a mad it's one of the ones where it's like, oh well, now this thing is scattered. You man weren't really about that life.
And we was hot, and we had a time when this thing could have been incredible. It's like how you look at the heavyweight division when you think to yourself, oh my goodness, there was a time we had a young AJ, undefeated AJ, undefeated Deontay Wilder, undefeated Fury. There was all these guys, and he said, imagine if they all get busy and stuff. And it's kind of, we're seeing it at the wrong time, or we're seeing it late. You know what I mean? And you think, guys, and this is what I feel with this Ryan Garcia versus Tank fight. While I'm really interested, can't wait to see it. It's late, and then after you say to yourself, well, it's surprising that Gervonta's turned down that level of a guaranteed money, but he's one of his reasons, which was an audacious claim as well. He said, listen, you was gonna allow someone to fight knowing that he popped dirty. He mentions that he actually shows the emails, which is incredible, and his comeback is the screenshot with the mad statement, basically.
I would like to have a conversation about fight purses, right?
Yeah,
these figures that get thrown around casually, because the thing about money is that money has to make sense. Do you know what I'm saying? Nobody's in this business to work hard and lose money. So my thing is, remember we had that conversation about purse bids, and there's a little kind of thing that goes on in boxing that people, that might not be privy to it, don't really think about. But when purse bids happen, it's like if I get the purse bid and I win it, I win the bid, and you're my fighter, and I say to you, all right, I'm gonna pay you 6 mil, yeah? And you're like, all right, say for that, bro. I said, but I'm gonna tell them I paid you 15 mil. Cool? Yeah. You're like, all right, say no more. My thing is, so when obviously it's same with the Tyson Fury thing, right? Let's say that happened, and then Dillian White's getting paid a percentage, right? Yeah. His split of the whole thing, and he's like, well, the split's low. If the money that we're basing this on is a lie, and the split is higher than it was, it's actually higher than you should have been getting paid based on what's really going on, then it's like, now I'm angry because you're not promoting the fight, which would explain the rage. Because it's like, I'm overpaying you, bro. You and him could even be getting paid the same money, and you're moving like this. You understand? That's where the venom comes from. Because if it's chump change, because it's 20% or whatever it was, if it's chump change for real, then it's chump change. You shouldn't even, I don't even care what you're on. So now I'm looking at fighter purses in general, and I see figures that get flown around, 30 mil, 20 mil, I'm like, is this really happening? Because it seems as if the boxing Bitcoin bubble has burst. Because networks are struggling. Everyone's going under, but yet somehow these figures are flying around and 10 mil is light to tank.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the reality is of the money situation in boxing right now.
Because remember, he said guaranteed purse 10 million, PPV, pay-per-view bonus to be agreed. So while you're getting 10 million, you're still entitled to a bonus of the pay-per-view. Like, it's mad.
So is there more money coming in that we aren't aware of? Listen. This is led me to the point. Let me just hit this. This is where I learned to that point. Remember the beginning I said I want to come back to this later.
Yeah.
Right now, I'll be real with you. This is probably the lowest level of optimism I've had about boxing. In all of my life of watching this sport, I watched boxing from a child, bro. At this point here right now, I'm looking at the sport and it's not even, I'm starting to feel indifferent at the updates. I'm like, right, these men we're just being lied to in a creative variety of ways.
But you know what? So, and this is why I probably find myself in a more beneficial area than you right now, because I've come into this thing so late. So I can't tell you about the glory days of man making fights and it happened really quickly. I didn't see that. I came into it too late to know, like, usually you'll say, listen, they had a conversation, the fight was made, we're having it, boom, 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 boom. And there wasn't this heavy social media presence of fighters just chatting rubbish to each other. But now that's the era that I've adopted this sport in. And for me, it just feels like, it feels normal. This feels like normality. Even the fighters, like, it's only when I look back into the annuals and I go back at fights and I'm looking at someone's record, I'm saying, hold on a minute. Man, they were fighting more than twice a year. Man, they were really, when you look at it and you say,
every 3 months, men were back in the ring on moving. That's why Canelo gets celebrated so much, because he's doing what them men used to do back in the day on a normal basis, fam.
Bro, I'm looking at man's record. I'm saying, but wait, how's he had 4 fights in a year? Like, bro. And it's I shouldn't be confused like that. But now we're seeing champions twice a year, maybe once. You're looking at fighters and you're saying, well, how are you living? And that's why, again, as Dana says, this has become a smash and grab business. But when you do smash and grabs, you're never looking after the place. You're not that person that is thinking of who's going to come in next after me.
Right. That's right.
And how am I going to make sure that this is a continual business? Right? It's like, I was just imagining, my wife was telling me about the comedy structure in Korea, right? And it's interesting, like, they basically, there's always a new class of new comedians that are coming up, and the older guys will be like a mentor to them, helping them through, so they keep incredible. So they're keeping that, they don't want it to die. They don't want that art form to die. So they're intentional about their work within this space. So I'm thinking to myself, the problems that we've had, us as comedians, remember there was that era of all of us turn up and then what's going on? Like, in terms of, there's
no camaraderie no more. Like, it's very different times.
It's different, but there's not as many. Like, where's the new crop? And what's going on with the new crop, and where's the shows for the new crop to be?
They're on social media doing skits. That's where that's the more appealing route than live work, because like you say, the infrastructure, 100%. But the infrastructure hasn't welcomed them in the same way that social media has done. So it's like, that's more appealing. That's more. It's brighter. The lights are better. It looks like you become, well known quite quickly. Whereas the live thing, you start to get into it. The minute you dip your toe, you start realizing, this is quite scatty waters. I ain't gonna lie. Like, there's a lot of things going on. You got to navigate. And if you're not really, you were just curious, you might say, you know what, I'm gonna just go and do some online stuff.
This is not for me. But then you're just limiting, and you're talking it, and this is like the same way you can talk about in comedy, in boxing, but then you're starting to limit who's good here. You're starting to limit what is the level, what is the new standard. Because now you're talking, bro, at the moment, as it stands, the person that everyone's raving about in this division is someone that's fought the same guy 3 times. And then after, what else, if we're being fair to ourselves? And you're saying, but that's the standard, that's the cupbearer of the division. And then now they even have the cheek. They have the cheek to now say, on legacy for legacy, you might have to look at Lennox. I don't even know how Lennox does against him. Imagine what we're saying. And this guy is not even, it's mad. But because again, without people holding the light to the standards and how this thing's supposed to operate, it's befuddling, bro. You can just change things. It's not meant to be. It's a free for all.
There's no standard. There's no standard, bro. It's whatever you say. If you say it loud enough, that becomes the standard. And it's mad because we stumbled on a conversation that's actually a lot to do with a wider subject and what society looks like today.
Yeah. Because again, people are getting praised for no reason. People are in positions. I'm tired of hearing, and people can say, you lot here with your opinions on boxing. I'm talking about like in boxing. I couldn't tell you about boxing officially, like, because it's not I don't fight, right? However, what I will say is, if ask me about comedy, ask me about the shit that I know I do, yeah, and I can talk to you as someone that can say I know this thing fully. I've done it. I've had the good nights, the bad nights. I've had the nights. Yeah. So this is one thing where I can say this is where I feel like an expert in this space or creating. Yeah. It's off. Something ain't right, bro. And literally, and the people we're doing a microwave thing, and it's not. It's where's the timeless man? Then where's the timeless shit in this thing? And yeah, but that's enough.
Bro. Game's wide open.
Another conversation. Anyway, people, me and Travis just ended this pod in total frustration with life.
For real, bro.
It is what it is. Listen, man. Just everyone else strive for greatness, fam. That's what you.
That's it. Do. That is everyone it. Cement your legacy and leave no food on the table.
That's right. That's better. That feels more like it. That's it. People, till next time, we're out of here, man. Peace. Yo, people, thanks for watching the Undefeated podcast. Make sure you
like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and all that good stuff, man. This is the place to be.